Well, you might remember a story we did this fall when Perry Kuznar of Eau Claire was getting ready to bike across the country raising money for local nonprofits. Now, some 3,000 miles later, he is back home and looking back on the adventure. 18 News' Toby Moore shares his story.
After dipping his tires in the Pacific and the Atlantic, Perry Kuznar is now back home in Eau Claire.
There's the map right there of the ride itself.
Starting in San Diego, California, he traveled 3,141 miles to St. Augustine, Florida on his bike.
Just experiencing the world at 12 miles an hour was really different because you could hear everything, you could see everything. When birds would fly over, you actually hear them, hear power lines crackling. It was just, really a cool experience.
He biked through flat tires in Texas, waited out flash floods in Arizona, and climbed lots of elevation changes in New Mexico, completing the trip in 51 days. His wife, Kathy, drove along, towing their home base, a teardrop camper. Now retired, the cross-country ride is something Kuznar has wanted to do for about 20 years after he saw someone else blog their own ride.
Here's a guy that was a teacher in New York City. He had written in this blog about riding his bike across the country, and I started reading it, and it's a daily blog. And I started reading it, and about 3.5 hours later, I realized I was still reading this blog. I hadn't done any work.
Kuznar decided to blog his own trip and use his ride as a chance to help others. He asked people to pledge 1 cent per mile to support the Sunrise Exchange Club, which Kuznar is president of, and Hope Gospel Mission, the Chippewa Valley Veterans Tribute, and Immaculate Conception Parish. He is still waiting on the final numbers from those groups, but so far raised over $11,000. Even the people he met on the road pitched in.
We ran into a couple, a daughter and mom team in Del Rio, Texas, that saw our bike, talked to us about it, and donated $150 right there in the parking lot.
So would he do it again? Maybe not another cross-country trip, he says, but he's not going to stop adventuring with his bike.
When I got done with the ride, I thought, oh, good, and I'm done. I can relax. And about 2 days later, I was itching to get back out on the road again.
In Eau Claire, I'm Toby Moore.
Thanks, Toby. Even though the ride is over, you can still pitch into the fundraiser for these local groups. We'll have a link on our website.